Hello everyone. I welcome you all to the Aryant Education Foundation's Aryant Institute of Business Management. I am Mayuri Kulkarni. I will be taking your subject Management Accounting for the MBA first semester. Management Accounting is a compulsory generic core course. It is of 100 marks, of which 50 is for comprehensive concurrent evaluation, that is a internal evaluation, and 50 for the end semester evaluation, that is a theory written paper of university. So today we will start our very first topic of management accounting, that is the forms of business organization. Accounting is a backbone of every business, but before going to the accounting concepts, we need to understand what is business, in what form business can be operated, as accounting concepts or treatments will be somewhere different depending upon the type of business. As there may be many students with non-commerce background, we will quickly go through the types of business organization and very basic concepts of accounting. So today we will start with the forms of business organization. After identifying the business in any field, say insurance industry or any production activity or service industry, it becomes necessary that you should have it as a legal entity to be known in a society. The various forms of organizations are sole proprietorship, partnership, cooperative society, and joint stock company. So first we will look about what is sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship, we can also refer it as a sole trader, or a proprietorship is an unincorporated business that has just one owner and who pays his personal income tax on profit earned by his business. Okay, a sole proprietorship is the easiest type of business to establish because there is a lack of government regulations or government interventions. As such, these type of business are very popular among sole owners of business like individual self-contractors, consultants, etc. Sole proprietorship is very different from corporation and limited partnership in that no separate legal entity is created. As a result, the business of owner of sole proprietorship is not exempt from liability incurred by the entity. For example, the debts of the sole proprietor are also the debt of owner. However, the profit of sole proprietorship also goes directly to the owner. So the basic concept is that it is a form of business that is owned, managed, and controlled by an individual. He has to arrange capital for the business and he alone is responsible for the management. He therefore entitled to the profit and has to bear the loss of business. However, he can take help of his family, or maybe he can recruit people like managers, accountants, marketing people, etc. But proprietorship, authority, responsibility will be associated with only one person who is owner. This type of business organization is also called single owner or single proprietorship. If the business primarily consists of trade, the organization is a sole trading organization. Small factories and shops are often found to be in sole proprietorship organization. We also know this, it is a general fact. It is the simplest and most easiest formed business organization. This is because not much legal formality is required to establish. For instance, if you want to start a factory, the permission of a local authority is sufficient. Similarly, if you want to open your own restaurant, you simply need one shop act and permission of a local health authority. Same for the grocery store. So, The monetary investment, time investment, documentation, legal process is comparatively less in sole proprietorship. So now let us see what are the merits of sole proprietorship. As we have discussed about what are the features of proprietorship, it included individual initiatives, then risk bearing capacity, management and control, minimum government regulations, etc. Now let us see what are the merits of sole proprietorship. Sole proprietor organization has following merits. First, we can say that easy formation. Sole proprietorship business is easy to form where no legal or less legal formalities are involved. It is not governed by any specific law. It is simply required that the business activity should be lawful and should comply with the rules and regulation laid down by the local authorities. It is as simple as that. Anyone of you or anyone of a society can become a proprietor, sole proprietor. He can just buy some material in bulk and he can just make resale of it. Okay, he can become his own proprietor or a businessman or a trader. It just, the condition is the activity should be lawful and it should comply with the rules and regulation of local authority. So it is a very simple way. Then second is better control. As we have discussed that there is only one owner, though owner is taking help of paid help or a help from family members, the control or the decision making power is associated with only owner. So he can have strict control on all the activities, all the transactions. As he is involved in all decision making, he must be aware of what is going on in my proprietorship organization or in my business. So he should have better control on all business activities because the decision power is centralized only in owner's hand. So he can have proper control. Then sole beneficiary of profit. As we know, as the owner need to take all the decision, he need to take all the risk, then all the profit of organization is also goes to the owner directly. He can enjoy all the profit all alone. Then benefit of small scale operations. The sole proprietorship is generally organized for small scale business. This helps proprietors' family members to be employed in a business. At the same time, such a business is also entitled to certain concession from the government. For example, small industry organization can get electricity and water supply at concessional rates on a priority basis. So these kind of benefits which are offered by the government, we can enjoy them as sole proprietor come under the small scale industries. Then inexpensive management. The sole proprietor does not appoint any specialist for various functions. He personally supervises various activities and he takes all the decisions on his own. So it automatically reduces the expenses which we need to spend on management of operations. Now let us see what are the limitations of management. Limitation of management skills. Limitation of management skill, as we know, as we consider it one-sided benefit that all the decision taking powers and responsibilities and authorities are centralized in the owner's hand, but it becomes drawback on another hand because one person may not be proficient or may not be expert in all the fields which you need in the organization or to run the business. To run the business, you need to have a knowledge of production or maybe for trading or maybe accounting, marketing. So all the fields, there may be limitation of a person and this can result as a limitation of management skill. A sole proprietor may not be able to manage the business efficiently as he is not likely to have necessary skills regarding all aspects of the business. So this reduces the scope of business growth and his own capital may be limited, and his personal assets and everything he is keeping on risk. Then limitation of resources. As he is a single owner, risk and the profit is not divided or not distributed with anyone, so there is a limitation of resources as well. The sole proprietor of a business is generally at disadvantage in raising sufficient capital because he need to use his own credit, maybe to have get loan, or may he need to employ all his assets and he need to raise all the capital on his own. So there is a limitation to raise high level of resources. Then there is a unlimited liability. The sole proprietor is personally liable for all business obligation. For payment of business debts, his personal property can also be used if the business assets are insufficient. Then there is a lack of continuity. A sole proprietor organization suffers from a lack of continuity. If the proprietor is ill, this may cause temporary cause of business, and if he dies, it may result for the permanent closure of a business. So here we can conclude that there are merits and demerits of sole proprietorship. We need to understand which is bad things and which are good things for the sole proprietorship, and then we need to decide which kind of benefits we are taking from this, and we need to continue with the sole proprietorship, or if we want to expand, then we need to go for the other options like partnership or joint ventures. So in next video we will look after the partnership forms. Thank you.